Hey, it is Gary Carpenter with Master Real Estate Academy Coaching, and I want to welcome you to this week's training where we're going to cover, we're actually starting a series of lead generation, and this is actually video one. I don't know how many videos we're going to have. It just all depends on how many lead generation points we cover. So I guess I got tongue-tied there, but anyhow, there is a slide up there that kind of shows you what we're planning on covering today, which is lead generation. I've got two screens rolling here right now, but we're going to cover lead generation tracks and dialogues, reasons to call your sphere of influence. Really that you only need one reason, but I've got multiple reasons for you to be able to call your sphere of influence. Texting, tracks, dialogues. We're going to hopefully role play a couple here for you. But again, like I had said in prior videos, that I am a huge advocate on having a good, solid sphere of influence. And to me, a good, solid sphere of influence is having names, again, having data, names, phone numbers, email addresses. You got to know who their birthdays are. Hello. Hey, also, you got to give StreamYard permission. And the only thing you got to give Facebook permission that StreamYard can post your picture and your name within this feed. So I think it's StreamYard /Facebook or something like that. But anyhow, but hello, whoever you are. Prospecting your sphere of influence. Let's see here. Click up here. And so we covered this last week on another video, which there's multiple lead sources. Okay. The number one lead source on how you're going to spend your time, money, and energy is always your sphere of influence. That is somebody within your database that you are nurturing, you're mailing, you're calling them, you're seeing them. They know you, they trust you, they would refer you type situation. So, but just to kind of go through the lead sources one more time, obviously number one, sphere of influence. Then you've got investors, you got your FSBO, you got your expired, you got your lead capture systems, having a website that you're marketing on, open house, just listed, just sold, and then you've got farming. So those are the opportunities of where you can actually start to lead generate. And again, going back to the number one, which is your sphere of influence, let's go ahead and just kind of let's jump into that one real quick. So there's something called the complete communication, and a complete communication is basically just a system. So whenever I have a system, I just give it a name. And so when you're implementing this system, you're going to text somebody. Okay. So imagine yourself, starting in the morning, and you're going to make phone calls. And again, what I coach is that you should be doing 3 to 5 blocks of 90-minute call times starting at 9 a.m. in the morning. And again, you can do this at any time, but just history has shown that if you start in the morning and if you do 90 minutes, you're going to end up with the best results. Okay. Now, how many 90-minute blocks do you do? It just kind of really all boils down to how busy you are, but you should be consistent with doing this in at least 2 to 3 times a week. And obviously, as you grow your database and grow your business, who you contact within those 90-minute blocks are going to be what level. So if you're brand new into the business, a 90-minute block is going to be cold calling, right? Or introducing yourself to your sphere of influence that you are now in real estate and you want their referrals or you want their introductions. And you don't have any buyers or seller leads. You're not putting any signs in yards. You're not driving any buyers around. You're not making any money. I don't know. You should probably start at 9 a.m. and call until you get one, right? I mean, that's literally how this works, is that our lead generation is driven by our activity, and our activity is driven by our lead generation. So it's one and the same. And where I see a lot of times real estate agents will start to lead generate and start to get busy, but then because they're busy and they don't have a lot of systems in place, and they're the jack of all trades, and they're the only ones that can do the home inspection. They're the only ones that can input the information. They're the only ones that can go to the home inspections. They're the only ones that can drive buyers around. They're the only ones that can present offers. They're the only ones that can take their kids to the doctor, whatever. You've got your life that you have to live as well as do real estate. Typically, the one thing that's going to go away, because we've talked about it before, is the urgency versus important. Lead generation is important. It's not necessarily urgent. When is lead generation urgent? It's urgent when you're broke. So from that standpoint, whatever time blocks you do, I've got agents right now that are putting together 8 deals in a week. So it's going to be tough for them to be able to lead generate. So some of them have even outsourced. They've hired an inside sales associate to be able to make some lead generation calls. But at the end of the day, the people that have got to call the A pluses and the A's are you, the agent. You've got to connect with your tribe. So with that said, let's go to the complete communication. So for me, when you do this system, the night before, you're going to pick 10 people, right? You're going to pick 10 people that you want to connect with, and you're going to send them a text. And I'm going to give you the exact words to type out in a text message. And hello, how are you? I'm going to give you the exact words to type out in a text message. I'm going to give you the exact words to say when you're talking with somebody on the phone. I'm going to give you the exact words to send in a note card. So a complete communication is that you're going to open up with a text to basically introduce yourself and that you want to communicate. Then you're going to have the conversation or the call. Sometimes when you're doing the conversation, it may be in a situation like we are right now, where it could be Zoom, it could be an actual call on the phone. It could be that you had a communication with them and you talked with them via text message. Again, it's all what you feel comfortable with, and everybody's a little bit different. And again, there's no bad communication, but there is good, better, and best. And to me, obviously, the best is face-to-face. The next is a Zoom call, and then the next is an actual phone call, and then the next is a text message. So if you're rating those, but a text, the reason why we're sending a text first is because of how well you can connect with somebody. If you make a phone call to them, it's like 22% of people that you call are actually going to pick up and talk. So you're going to be sent to voicemail a lot. If you send an email to them, well, it's like 4 or 5% of the people that you end up sending emails to are even going to respond or see an email. And with a text message, 97% of people actually see and read a text message. They don't necessarily respond back to you right away, but at least they're seeing the text message. So you're going to send a text, step 1. Step 2 is you're going to call them. You're going to have a conversation with them, and we're going to talk about the what. What should you be reaching out to them for? Okay, I'll go through a list of those. And then you're going to do a follow-up text. So you're going to have the conversation. It's going to be a great conversation. You're going to talk about them, talk about their family, talk about what's going on, talk about how this whole COVID thing's going on, all that type of stuff. And then you're going to shoot a follow-up text that basically would say something like, hey, John, it was great connecting with you and talking with you. Thanks a lot. I look forward to helping you with whatever you talked about on the phone. Or I hope that your daughter is feeling better because she was sick within the conversation that you were having. So whatever it is, you're just following up with a text. And then you're going to follow up with a note card. And the note card is basically a little bit of the same as what the follow-up text was, but you're going to send a note card. And again, it's a complete communication. You texted them, you got them on the phone, you had a good conversation with them. You texted a follow-up saying, thank you for the conversation. And then you send a note card saying, thank you for the conversation. It was great connecting with you. That's a complete communication. Then the text message examples are this. One, it could be, Gary, can you talk, right? That's an easy text to send to somebody. Obviously, you're not going to use Gary, but you're going to use them. And now you're trying to talk to somebody like right away. Okay. And you're going to get a text message back from them that could say a mirage of things. So the next one would be, Gary, I would love to hear the sound of your voice. Can you talk? Right? Doesn't that sound nice? Gary, I'd like to hear the sound of your voice. We haven't talked in such a long time. When would be a good time to talk? And again, you can customize these any way you want to. And then the next one is, Gary, I have 15 minutes before my next appointment, and I thought of you. Can you talk? So these are kind of that's a time sensitive text. So you can send that one if legitimately you're sitting in your 90-minute block and you want to talk to them. You basically say, hey, I've got 30 minutes. I got 15 minutes. I got 60 minutes to talk. I would love to chat with you. Another text message is, Gary, I was just thinking about you and would love to hear the sound of your voice. Can you talk today sometime between 2 and 4? And again, now you're directing that conversation because now your time block is between 2 and 4. Okay. So again, I don't want you to put too much thought into this. But what we're trying to do with our sphere of influence is we're trying to reach out to them, because again, if we call them right away, and again, you can do that, but just know that if you start calling at 9 o'clock in the morning, that a lot of times you are going to be sent to voicemail. And then you're going to leave a voicemail, and then hopefully you'll connect later on during the day. But when you're sending a text message, 97% are going to see that. And the closer you are to that person that you're sending the text to, the increases the odds that they're going to text you back right away. But we all know that we've sent texts, or that we've gotten texts that we've responded to late because we were busy or because of whatever. So the first step is you're going to text them to try to schedule a phone call. And then here's the reasons to call your sphere of influence. To me, any reason's a good reason, right? COVID-19 is a good reason. And those of you that have been coaching with me and that have seen other trainings that I have, and I'll try to pull that up today, but there is a COVID dialogue that you can send out. And on the private Facebook page on Master Real Estate Academy, it's actually in the files. So it's uploaded on Facebook. So you can actually download it and take a look at it. And it's got the text message to send. It's got the conversation to have, how to close the conversation, and then note card to send. So it's all in there. So one reason would be for a client appreciation event. So on our real estate team, we have 4 events a year. And I will do videos on how to have an amazing client appreciation event, all the steps that go with that. If you're interested, hopefully if you can, it helps me out. I got 6 people. My goal is that when I started doing live video about 3 weeks ago was to build my audience to, 10. We started with 2. We got up to 10 yesterday. We're now up to 7 right now. So my goal is to get 30. The goal always is that if somebody needs what I'm putting on Facebook here, they're going to be here to listen. But these are all going to be re-recorded. They're going to be repurposed into training videos and that type of stuff. So we'll talk about client appreciation party. We'll talk about the steps on how to put that. But again, that's another value. It has nothing to do with real estate. They know you're in real estate, but you're inviting them to an event that's scheduled 30 days down the road or whatever the case may be. The next one is, how are you doing? Right? I haven't heard your voice in a while. Just wanted to connect. Haven't talked to you forever. Again, you've got to keep track of your database, especially your A's and your A pluses, and you need to make sure that you are connecting with them on a regular basis. So again, the reason why you're calling is just to check and see how things are going. Okay. The next one is thinking about you. Hey, I was thinking about you and just wanted to check in and see how the family's doing. How are you doing with COVID-19? How are you doing with the holidays? Whatever it is, that's just another reason to call. Home anniversaries. So again, those of you that have had closings with buyers in the past, again, on their anniversary month, you maybe give them a call and wish them an anniversary, because most of the times they don't even know it's the anniversary, especially when you get to the third or the fourth or the fifth anniversary. So, and you want to be there when they're thinking about buying that next house, right? So you want to encourage that on the anniversary call. And then there's the birthdays. So, again, another thing that I teach is that when you put your database together, that you make sure that you have their most special day of the year, which is their birthday. And I don't care what anybody says, no matter how old. I'm 52 years old. I love my birthday. I love surprise birthday parties. I love getting together socially with people on my birthday. I don't love necessarily the next day of my birthday, but anyhow, I may have a little bit of a drinking problem when it comes to my birthday. But so birthdays is a great thing. The other idea of a birthday, because here's what most people do right now. They're on Facebook and they go onto Facebook with, another 200 people and wish them a happy birthday. Some of them HBD, right? Happy birthday. My suggestion is to be different. And the way that you can be different is to call them on their birthday. And the way that you can be even more different is to sing happy birthday to them on their birthday. Right? Like, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cassidy. Happy birthday to you. So, something like that, because here's the thing. I know everybody who's watching this video right now, you're smiling. You may even think I'm weird, and that's okay, because the point is that nobody else did this for their birthday, okay? And so just having a little bit of fun on somebody's birthday and calling them, then you can even talk to, say, and just, you can, again, you don't necessarily need to ask for an introduction here, because it's not about you. It's not about your business. It is about them. But if they have ran into somebody, or they're thinking about selling or buying a house, well, now you were just the cool person that just called them and wished them a happy birthday. And even if they're thinking of it, or they've heard of somebody, this is the time that they're going to let you know about it. So, and then introduction or referral. So you're calling to try to get introductions, right? So, hey, if you knew somebody was thinking about buying or selling real estate, would you feel comfortable in introducing me? Would you feel uncomfortable in referring me? The reason why I would go more towards the word introduction versus referral is because people can imagine, you can picture an introduction. You can't necessarily picture a referral. But again, it's up to you on what you want to do, what word you want to use. And I'll give you a great dialogue coming up here, a track that you can follow with this. But again, this is another reason to call. Most influential for new listings. So if you get a new listing, this is a great one. This actually isn't even mine. This is Deb Cizik. So a little story behind this is Deb Cizik was doing an interview with Gary Keller, and this was years ago. And he had talked to her and asked her, what do you have a call goal for the day? And she says, yes, every day that I wake up, my goal is to make 50 conversations, have 50 conversations a day. And Gary Keller's like, wow, that is a lot. And she goes, how many times or how often do you hit the goal? She goes, Gary, I don't ever hit the goal. He goes, well, why would you set a goal for 50? She goes, because that's the ultimate goal, is to contact 50 people. But at the same time, if I set it for 10, I may call 8 or 9. If I set it for 50, chances are I'm going to call 30, 35 people. And so then he asked her what the dialogue was that she used. And she called it the most influential dialogue. I don't even remember if she called it that or if I gave it, because that's what she says in the dialogue. But when she calls people up, she basically, you're doing your introduction. Hey, Gary, it's it's Gary Carpenter with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I hope that I'm finding you doing well right now with the current situation right now. I don't know if you knew this, but real estate is off the charts crazy right now. And we just listed a house, over on 12345 Umpty Ump Street. And I know that you're probably not in the market to purchasing a house right now. But what I do know is that you are one of the most influential people that I have in my database. And so I figured if anybody knew somebody who would be interested in 12345 Umpty Ump Avenue, I think you would know. So by the way, do you know anybody that might be interested in that house? 100% of the time, they typically say no. They don't know you're calling people. It's like calling a neighborhood and saying, hey, you thinking about selling your house? The majority of the people you're going to call are going to say no, but that's not the point. The point is that you said you're one of the most influential people in my database. It makes them feel good, right? And then you're going to have a conversation, but it was the reason. You're introducing, hey, I got a new listing. You're the most influential. Who do you know who? And, oh, by the way, before I let you go, don't keep me a secret. Anybody that you know, I love helping people buy and sell real estate, but I love it even more when it's somebody that you care about that I can help. So if you know somebody, please give me a call. Shoot me a text, right? Isn't that a good one? Come on. You guys comment over here on the site on whether or not you think that is a good one. I've got in my comments so far, I got, hey, Uncle G. That is great. Cassidy, how are you doing? And I'm assuming that's Cassidy because she's right now the only niece that I have in real estate. And then there is hello, Gary. And I don't know who that user is because they haven't said they haven't given Facebook permission. So at least put your name behind it. But I've got 6 people watching right now. So maybe put in, if you can invite other real estate agents to this, if you find value, you can share this video. I've got probably another 10 or 15 minutes of it. And I always save my best stuff for last. Hi, Marnie. How are you? And she says, mind blown. That is good. So I love that. So I'm going to give Marnie props and I'm going to share her comment there real quick. Marnie, thank you so much for sharing that. Maybe even put down like your favorite emoji. Is it happy face? Well, I'm glad you like it, Marnie. I always keep my expectations really, really low and my dreams and my aspirations high. I was taught that a long time ago because then you'll never, ever be disappointed with anybody around you. So anyhow, well, we got Bud. I love it. I just love Facebook. It is just awesome. And hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos that we're putting out, or that I should say we're putting out. It's actually me. All right. So let's go back to the presentation. And then the last one is expanding my business, right? That is a great one. And so I would say it was 1999 is when I was first introduced to this. Because when I look at a real estate agent, it doesn't matter what level you're at because you're always expanding your business. I don't care where anybody says, I'm expanding my business and I could use your help. That is the best dialogue ever. And it's a reason to call. So the reason why I'm calling is I've got 2 things. One, I wanted to catch up with you. And the other one is that Linda and I are expanding our business and I could use your help, right? So I'm going to go into that. It's called the referral lead generator. which again, I learned from Floyd Wickman years ago and is the best dialogue ever to make a phone call to your sphere of influence. So let's go ahead and cover it here real quick. So I'm just going to, step by step. The first step is, small talk chuckle factor. So the idea behind that is that when you do get somebody, this is not an interrogation, okay? This is a conversation. So step number one, small talk. We're just making small talk. How are you doing? How's the family? How's the weather? Hopefully you can get a little bit more creative than the weather, but you're just asking about things that are going on. And obviously if you have common, kids on a baseball team together, baseball season's opening up right now. Maybe their kid went to baseball practice. How is that going? Whatever. Come up with something. Have a general idea what you want to connect with them about before you make the phone call. I mean, I had a general idea what I wanted this video to be about, so much so that I put some slides together for it. And I'm sure that you're appreciating that on your end. And so the next step is, just say, and it doesn't matter how it goes because you're the one that's driving the conversation. So within that conversation, talking about the baseball game, you're then going to go, hey, you know what, Jim, the reason why I'm calling actually was two reasons. One was I wanted to catch up. I hadn't talked to you in such a long time. And the other one is that I'm expanding my business and I could use your help. I don't know if you knew this, but during this COVID-19 and ever since it started in March, we had a little bit of a slowdown there at the end of March, but the market has picked up and it is going gangbusters. And even so much more now because of all the pent up demand. And now that the economy's kind of open up a little bit, we don't have enough inventory. And so, which results into we need more inventory. We're low on inventory. Lots of buyers, but not a lot of houses. So I just wanted to know if you knew somebody who was thinking about buying or selling real estate, maybe within the next 90 days, would you feel comfortable in introducing me? Wait for it. They're going to say yes 100% of the time. And if they don't say yes, then you probably should just hang up, right? Because there's no point in why are you not comfortable in introducing me? No, you just move on to the next one, okay? But now they say yes, okay? And then you give them, hey, you know what, Jim, I appreciate the fact that you would feel comfortable in introducing me to somebody that you know, like, and trust. And so I want to reassure you, which is step number 4, that if you ever introduce me to anybody, the one thing that I'm going to make sure is that I'm going to treat them like family. Heck, you know how I treat my family, so I'm going to treat them a lot better than my family. I'm going to take care of them like kings and queens. And I will make sure that I'm not pushy, because that's one of the things that I think worry probably most people when they refer somebody or introduce a new relationship is that, somebody like a salesperson is going to be pushy. I promise I won't be pushy. And I will keep you informed whether or not that introduction goes anywhere. So I'll let you know what happens with that. Fair enough? Okay, great. By the way, since I do have you on the phone, and just so you guys know, so by the way, okay, write that down. If you're taking any kind of notes, by the way is a great bridge, okay, to get to the next step. So you reassured them, you gave them your brand, we call it a brand promise. By the way, who might you know who might be thinking about selling real estate? And what's going to happen there, because it's an open-ended question and you caught them off guard, you didn't send them any kind of an email saying, hey, Jim, I was going to give you a call. Think about some people that might be thinking about selling real estate, maybe in, at your gym that you work out on or maybe in your family or maybe in your neighborhood. Okay. And then when I call you, I'm going to ask you these questions. No, you're catching them off guard. So more than not, what you're trying to do through this conversation, turning on that reticular reactivator, which most people that are probably on this call know what the reticular reactivator is. You're turning it on. It's like buying a new car. You start noticing other new cars. You're talking about real estate, wanting referrals. they're going to run into other people that are thinking about buying or selling real estate. So hopefully within the next 48 hours, then you're going to get a phone call saying, hey, Bill is thinking about selling his house. So getting back into the dialogue, you reassure them, you ask them, so by the way, who do you know who might be thinking about potentially buying real estate in the next 90 days? They're going to go, and then you're going to jump right into step number 6. And I say 3 categories because I've always been taught that there's magic in 3s, right? If you ask somebody something 3 times in a different way, you're typically not going to push them beyond repair. And but a lot of times you're going to get what you want out of there, right? So I mean, you remember your kids, hey, I want some ice cream, hey, I want some ice cream, hey, I want some ice cream, hey, I want some ice cream. I'm sure that they probably asked more than 3 times, gave you more than 3 options, but it's asking 3 different ways. So so who do you know who might be thinking about buying or selling real estate anytime now or in the next 90 days? They say, well, you know what? I can't think of anybody. Well, you say, well, maybe somebody at work. By the way, are you at work now? Oh, you're working from home? Okay, so you're probably not seeing anybody, hearing anything on Zoom calls or anything about anybody buying around? No? Okay, great. Maybe somebody in the neighborhood. I'm sure you're probably getting the dog out and going for walks more than you probably used to. Is there anybody in the neighborhood maybe you're thinking, maybe they got a dumpster in front of their yard or something and they're thinking about selling? Nope, can't think of anybody. Well, maybe somebody in your immediate family. I'm sure you've been on some birthday calls or you've been on some kind of big Zoom thing or whatever the case may be. Is there anybody in your family? No. Okay, great. So you've gone through 3 categories. You've had a conversation around each one. If 3 doesn't feel comfortable and doesn't feel right, at least ask 1 category, okay? And then the permission and promise is number 7. So, you're going to wrap up the call, right? Because you got 90 minutes on your time block. You want to get through more than one person. So you go to number 7, say, you know what, Jim, it was great catching up with you. Thank you so much for thinking about or saying that you would introduce me. And let me ask you one more question. Before I let you go. Things change in real estate, obviously, with the market getting shut down. Really hasn't affected value, but a lot of people think that it has affected value. But what I would like to do, if you're okay with it, if something should happen to change that may affect the value of your home, would you like me to keep you in touch with you on that, or inform you of that? Yes, you will. Okay, I promise I will. Permission and promise. You're asking for permission to be in touch with something in the future, and you're promising that you're gonna do it. Okay. And then step number 8 is validation. Okay. So validation is only good as if they give you a lead. Okay. So if somebody gives you a lead and they say, yeah, as I think about it, our sister is actually in the market. She's talking about buying her first house. You should give Joanne a call and talk to her. Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this. So you're going permission and promise. You say, thank you so much for, trusting that I can take care of Joanne. Let me ask you a question. Would there be a chance that you might be able to give Joanne a call and say something nice about me? Well, what could you say that's nice? Well, maybe you had a transaction with Jim, around, and it went really well. Maybe you can say, hey, Joanne, I told Gary Carpenter, a real estate agent, that you were thinking about buying your first house. He did an amazing job when he helped us buy our first house. Be expecting a phone call from him. Now, notice I didn't say, can you have Joanne call me? You want to make sure that you get that information from the lead source so that you can then call the lead, because that way you can be in control of that situation. And, for the most part, if you ask them to set the table for you, ask for a validation, ask them to call in advance, you're going to get them to be able to do that. And then you always want to, before you let them go, you always want to kind of say, okay, so when should I reach out to Joanne? When do you think you might be able to give her a call? I'm going to tell you probably 100% of the time, they're going to want to call Joanne right away. Because again, most people live by the core value, do what you say you're going to do, sometimes more, just never less. And they don't want to forget. So, hey, I'm going to give Joanne a call now. Why don't you give her a call in a couple hours? So should I reach out to you first to make sure that you've reached Joanne, or did you want me to just give her a call maybe tomorrow? Just give her a call maybe tomorrow. Okay, great. So sometimes they're not going to, if you personally don't feel comfortable in asking for a validation, then what my suggestion would be is to just give them a call. And then what you can do when you give them a call is this is a lead. We're kind of getting into another technique, which is called the lead to appointment converter. But you're going to call that lead source. You're going to warm them up just like you would anything. And the warm going to be considered is more so of, hey, you know what, your brother-in-law Jim. I had a great conversation. We're good buddies. I helped him buy his first house. He mentioned that you were thinking about buying your first house and asked me to reach out to you. Okay. I mean, that's how you're going to kind of handle that one. So if you guys have got any specific questions about the referral lead generator, type them in the comments, but also can you type in the comments what you're getting from it? So somebody had posted, what a great refresher. And this is exactly what this. Hey, do I have Sham? She's Sham out there. Hey, Sham, how are you? Thanks for coming. Now, Sham Ready. I'm going to tell you what. If you guys want to get connected to one of the nicest people on the planet, Sham is the guy. He's out in Ohio, which is the Buckeye State. And he has been I think I met Sham in 1999 at a Master Real Estate Academy down in Las Vegas. And what a great guy. I mean, if you have any questions in real estate, he's a great person to connect with. So let's pop up and see what else we got here. So that's the referral lead generator. And that's been around for years, but it's just, I've never seen anything better to be able to connect with my database. So I think that's all I got. So let's wrap up here. If you guys don't have any more questions, next week. So you guys know that I've been doing kind of a series on, and I really haven't called it a series. It's just on Tuesdays. I've been trying to bring in an industry leader. And next Tuesday, I'm going to bring in Vince Lisi. Vince Lisi has been in the real estate business, well, a long time. I'm going to say probably almost 30 plus years. And he took over brokerage firm years ago, Prudential Ambassador. And at the time when he took it over, there was probably 30 or 40 agents with the company. And he grew that through the years. And currently they have almost 950. And that's actually where my wife and I sell real estate, where we hang our license. I've done a lot of things with Vince, training classes and everything else. He's a major influencer within the BHHS system, and has always got great ideas on how to on what direction to take your business. So he actually coaches me. We're not in an official coaching relationship, but whenever I need anything or guidance or anything like that, I give him a call. So super nice guy. He's going to be on next Tuesday, June 9th at 2:30. And then next Thursday on the 11th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to go through just listed, just sold dialogues. And it's really calling for seller leads, okay? And it doesn't have to be just around just listed, just sold, but that's usually the best reason to make cold calls is because of just listed, just sold. So we'll be covering all of that next week. And again, if you have any questions, you guys know how to reach out to me. You can reach me at 402 what is my number? 402-680-7000. And again, if you guys ever feel like you're earning less than your potential, and you're not currently in a coaching relationship with me right now, please feel free to give me a call. I do a free blueprint call that we kind of analyze your business. I have a questionnaire that I send out first for you to fill out, and you fill it out, you get it to me, and then we schedule the 1 hour call. Now the beauty is my payment plan. Okay, aside of the great coaching that you're going to get from me, it is my payment plan. Typically, coaches charge a monthly fee. Not me. I don't charge a monthly fee. I will take it out of per transaction, and that's an arrangement that I get in per agent. But I charge a lot of money, and then we figure out and we try to get you to do a lot of transactions. I'm trying to get you to be rich, right? And I maybe not so much rich, but to be able to make a good living, a good lifestyle that you have out for yourself. So that is all I got. I love you guys, and again, I am here whenever you need me. Please feel free to reach out. So have a good one. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.